So just so you know, when a player is regularly playing, they have a weight of 1. So when they submit a true task, it's a submission of 1. When a Scythe or someone reaps something, they have a weight of 2. So that way they can overcome any previous mistakes and make that easier. In general, admins have a ridiculous power of a weight of 1,000,000 when they reap a cube. And that's just kind of what each vote is for every weight on a cube. Just go over the basics. If you guys want to ask a question, feel free to just unmute your mic and ask me, or you can just type in group chat and I'll get to it after talking for a few minutes. Just so you guys know, people ask you what are the qualifications for you to become a scout and a Scythe. Our minimum qualifications are, the 100,000 points. You've been online for 1 month at least. You have a 90% accuracy or better, and you're somewhat active in the community. We know who you are, kind of thing. People, will probably ask you that. You guys are used to that. You've been around. Basically, when the rewards for scouting and scything, like I said, I'm going over a lot of the basics, is that for every cube you flag when you're a scout is worth 50 points. It is worth 30 points if you confirm another Scythe's cube. It's 0 points if you overweight your own previous scything. So Scythe will earn 150 points if they rip a cube. But if they go back in and find they made a mistake, they're just going to fix that mistake, but they won't get any additional points. There are no points for Scythe Complete. It's just basically the honor of completing branches and cells, which is, for science. And see here, you guys know how to use Scout Chat, which is, /GM Scouts. And everyone is on the Scouts and Scythes email list. If you are not, send support an email and we'll make sure we add you to that. We don't really send out very many messages. It's just the occasional kind of updates about something if there's an important merger you have to avoid or something like that. So I'm going to jump over and do screen share onto iWire now. And hopefully you can see that relatively well. If you have a question, just ask me here in Scout Chat because I can no longer see the Hangout screen. It's just how big my laptop is. Alright, so we're just going to work off of my account, which is an admin account, but it's pretty much the same toolbar as a Scout and a Scythe. And in this case, all day today, I've kind of been working on 226B. And I'm just going over the basics, how to move around in the overview and such like that. So, basically, if you have a cell, if you want to swivel around a point, just hold down your mouse, click, and move. To pan across the screen, you're going to right-click and drag. To zoom in, you scroll in and out. To center on a point, so let's say I really want to look at this branch over here. I'm going to hit Control-click, or pardon me, it's not going to work on my computer. There we go. I'm going to hit Alt-click, and that's going to jump me right to that point. So even if I'm zoomed out, it's going to center me around that area, and now when I zoom in, it's really close. So that's an easy way to jump to a certain part in a cell, or just to recenter your focus around an area, and be able to, check out those ends. What I usually generally do is I will pick a branch, and then I will kind of zoom in on it, and then I will kind of pan it across my screen so I can easily follow it along, rather than being super far out. But this way I can kind of follow it along here. So that's basic overview mode. What we'll do is we're going to now go ahead and move over to Scythe Vision, which is the heat map you generally will all be looking at for when you go in and edit cells. So as you can see, 226B is pretty messy. It's not quite pretty. As it is. So we will go ahead and check out an area. So this cell is good because it's got multiple colors on it. So basically, if you're a scout, when you flag something, it's going to turn this lovely yellow color on your branch. If you're a scythe and you reap something, it's going to turn this lovely orange color. If an admin reaps something, it'll turn this red. And then the purple, this dark purple here, is admin complete, meaning that we've completed that part of the branch and declared it no longer needs to be worked on. There's also a lighter shade of purple, which is the Scythe complete color. In order to select on a cube in the chat, you're going to shift click, and that'll highlight that cube up in white, as you can see right here. And what I'll do is I'll usually just zoom right in on that area. And as you notice, when I shift select, it recenters my focus around there, so I don't need to recenter or anything like that. Just so you know, I was talking about weight earlier on in the meeting. For lightning cells, it only takes a weight of 2 submissions for the cube to spawn a new task and for the branch to grow. It takes 3 submissions on mystery cells for the branch to spawn a new task. Scythes have a reaping weight of 2, so that way they can quickly grow things on lightning cells or overcome a merger on mystery cells. A lot of people ask how much time you should spend scouting. As much time as you want. There's no, force to work a certain amount of time. So a lot of people ask, what should they check on a branch as they go along? Generally speaking, you should check, basically look for jagged areas, flat edges, short branches, missing areas where there isn't any, where there's like dust or something like that. So this is kind of weird right here. You can see there's kind of missing stuff. Don't check every cube on a branch. That's just a little bit too much, and it'll drive you crazy. It drives us crazy that you report every missing nub or something like that. Basically, we want you to be kind of looking for the major errors in an area. Dust, which is stuff that's kind of surrounded, like inside the cube itself, in the branch itself, is less important than you finding like a nub or a branch that's missing, if it kind of translates well across. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to we'll work on this branch over here. And what I've done is I've just decided that this looks like it might be ending. I don't know for sure. It might need to grow. I'll look here. I'll see that the weight is 4, and so thus I should check it. It's not still growing, and I'm just kind of checking in the areas, looking for anything that looks kind of suspicious. But this looks pretty good. This looks like it needs to have some growth happen because it's flat-edged. Now it has a weight of 3, so I'm going to jump in there and see what's going on, why this branch hasn't grown. It looks like the overview hasn't been updated lately, so that's a refresh problem. Excuse me on my part. Be wary. Things will grow if you haven't refreshed for a while, which obviously is the case with this. But now that we're in the cube, I've went and inspected in it. I'll just explain a few of the colors here that happen when you jump into a cube. The dark blue piece is your seed piece. The light blue is what has been pretty much agreed on by several players. They've submitted these segments. Lighter colors, so purple, pink, red, orange, that means that those are a lot less weight on them. So if it's orange or red or something, it means that only one person has added that branch, or if it's pink, only like 1 or 2 people have agreed on that branch. If it's blue, it's more likely that 2 or 3 people have really agreed on it, and that's kind of here to stay. Generally speaking, if you see a merger in a cube, it sometimes will be usually a pinker shade of color in that segment. Now what I'll do is I'll just kind of, scroll around in the cube. This looks like it might be done actually, so I'm just going to check. So I looked real quick, this is kind of flat right here, just to make sure that that does end out. And then I'll move along here and check out this end here, and it doesn't seem to have a continuation. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and say, all right, this is good. Now in my case, since this is an end of a branch, I could either reap it, and then I'll turn it red in the overview, or in my case, I'm just going to go ahead and complete children. So what I'm doing is I'm moving out from a fork here. So I'm going to move along this other side here now. Now let's say that this had a merger in it or something like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the Scouts log, and I'm going to briefly explain this to you guys. So if you find, let's see here, a cube that has an error in it that is suspicious, there's a merger in it or something like that. If you're a Scout or if you're a Scythe, what you're going to do is you're going to look at that cube, go over to your Scouts log, go to the cell that you're working on. So in this case, I'm working on this cell, 226B. Obviously, Susie has put some stuff in here. And what I'll do is I'll input that cube ID. And how I'm going to get my cube ID up is I'm going to either be in the cube ID or I can type /debug and make sure I got everything correct here. So my cube ID here, everywhere. Now that I think about it, I know what I'm talking about, right? 465,850. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to put my name in the name column, right? Then I'm going to update my status. There are various statuses. So let's say this cube was good. I would mention it's cube. If it was a missing branch in that cube, I would mention missing branch. If it was missing a nub, if it had a merger, pretty self-explanatory. If you need a Scythe, if you're a Scout, you're going to write need Scythe. And if you need an admin, let's say it's a particularly nasty AI merger or something like that, then go ahead and flag for us, and it'll be yellow. The next area is you're going to take a screenshot of your cube if it's necessary. So in this case, I don't think this necessarily needs a screenshot because it doesn't have any problems in it. But what you would do is you would take a screenshot using print screen, or if you're on a Mac, grab, something like that. And I usually would take a picture of it. Then go over into here, upload it on an imager or something like that, and paste a link in here. You want to make sure you only put one link in this column right here, because otherwise what happens if you have multiple stuff, it means that the link no longer works. If you are putting in a secondary link, you're going to put it in over here. And then if, as you can see here, Susie wrote in 2 missing nubs for her, thing like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear this out right now. If you're new to New Scouts, I suggest you guys use the New Scouts tab. As you can see, there's been multiple stuff. It's pretty much just a way to make sure that you guys know how to use the log, and then you usually get out of this stage fairly quickly. So, how to tell if a branch is done. And Scythe completing. These are fun ones. All right, I see there's a few things that we can do for you for doing the screenshots, but you can definitely just report it and see what you can do. So going over completing something, I'm going to do a quick refresh on my screen here right now. Let's hide that. That's really annoying. Oops. So Scythe complete. It would help if I remember where I was. A good thing is to make sure that, generally speaking, when we're going through and checking the cells for completedness done, we usually start from the cell body, or in this case, the kind of starting area, and move on our way out from the cell. This is because that's the way that the cell grows and how it moves, you know, kind of goes out weight-wise for when cubes get completed and spawned. This way, it makes sure that everyone traces the ends, which need to be growing, rather than the middle area. So generally speaking, what we do is we'll kind of pick an area or a branch and then move out from that kind of center area. So in my case, today, what I've been doing is I was working out from this branch right here, and slowly what I'll do is I'll kind of come to a fork, I'll say, all right, let's go to this fork. I'm going to move along it and have a look at these things and see that this end is rounded here. This end is not. And I'll just kind of travel up along the branch. If I come to another fork, what I'll do is I'll kind of note where that is, have a look, have a look. Now, the best way to do Scythe complete really is basically to complete children as you go and then uncomplete the branch after it. What I mean by that is we're going to pretend that this here branch might be done. Is let's say I'm at this fork here and I know this is complete. So what is this? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete children. And let's say that this branch all the way up here is not complete. What I'm going to do is I'm going to uncomplete this now. And complete this now. No. And the overview should update itself. Oh boy. I'm getting mad glitches. There we go. Maybe? Maybe not. Alright. Yeah, we've been having some slowness because there have been an issue with the spawner right now. So basically what I did is I completed these children and then I uncomplete after it. So I'm completing the branch as I go along, but when I get to a cube area where I know it's not complete, I uncomplete it. So that's kind of how we go along. And that's the way you should do it when you're doing your Scythe completing. Basically, when you're doing Scythe complete, just to make sure that you guys aren't doing double work on each other, there is a tab in the Scouts log called Scythe complete. And what you can do is you can just enter your name in, say what cell you're working on. So, my name is Dr. Maratara. You know, I'm working on 26B. I'm, you know, date, whatever, and then I'll just say that I'm working on it. This way, if someone else wants to do Scythe complete, you won't be stepping on each other's toes, or you'll know that somebody else is also working on it, and then you can, you know, hopefully contact them and work in conjunction with them. This way you aren't going to go over each other's own work and do double the work. So that's what the Scythe complete tab is here in this, this lovely log. Oh, right. Am I tired of hearing myself talk? Yes. If you guys have any questions for me, ask away. I'm gonna go over to the Hangout here. Oh, this is special. So guys, do you have anything in particular that you have a question for, or that you would like to kind of go over, like how the best way to approach something, or when a branch is done, or anything like that? Feel free to ask or unmute your mic. Not really? Okay. Because you're a Scythe now, right? And okay, and you are too, JB. Okay. All right. Do you want me to go over anything in particular with Scythe completing or anything like that? It tends to be a little bit tricky at times. It's all about making sure that you kind of come back to your starting point, which is why I generally will move along a branch and stick to one fork and then go back to the other fork kind of thing. As you can tell here, there's a lot of stuff. So Scythe Complete, no, it does not. Only Admin Complete will stop basically having those cubes assigned to others. Scythe Complete is just a way for us to visually know that that's complete, and then you'll see actually that as admins we'll go back over it and color it in darker purple to make sure that no one gets assigned it. Yeah, exactly. And let's see here. The important thing is there is a little bit of bleed over that happens from branch to branch. So be wary if a branch looks purple in an area but it's kind of disconnected to other things. It may be that it's not specifically complete. It's just that it's in the general neighborhood of others. All right. I think we've pretty much covered everything that I can think of for the basics for Sout and Scythe Scouting. Anything else you want to ask about JB that, or I think Icy stepped out for a minute. I can tell you, I'm pretty much what I'll do is work my way out from the center. In this cell, it's kind of crazy to keep track of where you're at. So some people I know will write down cube numbers where a branch will split off. So if they're following along and there's a split here, they'll write down, this cube is where they're forking off from each other, and then you'll start going along, and that way you know where to come back to. As you can see, we sometimes avoid marking stuff in the inner here because what happens is, like I said, that bleed over issue where it's going to color a lot of the other stuff in the surrounding area, but not actually be truly Scythe complete. Just it's visually disturbing in that sense. So, Icy, do you have any other questions or anything? Not really? Okay. Alright, guys. It's been about half an hour. That's how long our last hangout lasted. Pretty much, you guys are all doing an excellent job, and if you ever have any, questions or you need help with going along and looking at things, just ask away. I know that we have some older Scythes who are more than willing to answer questions, and we're always around as admins. Don't be shy. I lurk, but if I'm online, you can usually poke me, by the way. So, guess I will say hi. I'm gonna move off of screen share now. There we go. Oh, the lights turned off in my room. All right, guys. So, if you don't have any more questions, I will sign off for tonight. I'll be online afterwards for a little while longer. Take care, and thanks for coming for the late night hangout. All right, bye.